Daniel loved books. He was the kind of man who could spend hours inside a small dusty bookstore. One cold afternoon in Boston, he walked into an old shop on the corner of a quiet street. The shelves smelled of time and the books looked like they carried secrets. As Daniel pulled out a worn novel, something thin slipped from between the pages. It was a yellowed envelope, sealed but never sent. His hands shook as he opened it. The handwriting was neat, the words heavy with emotion. The letter was from a woman named Claire. She wrote that she was ready to leave her husband for a man she truly loved. She promised that by the end of the week she would run away to be with him. Daniel froze. Why had this letter never been delivered? Did Claire leave, or did she stay trapped in her life? The questions began to eat at him. He could not just walk away. The letter felt alive, pulling him into someone else's secret story. Daniel carried the letter home, but he could not sleep that night. He kept staring at the words as if they were whispering to him. The next day he returned to the bookstore and asked the old shopkeeper if he knew where the book had come from. The man scratched his head and said it was donated from an estate sale just outside Boston. Daniel's heart raced. He went to the address the shopkeeper gave him. The house was empty, its windows boarded up, but a neighbor told him that the family who once lived there was called the Harrisons. Claire Harrison. The name from the letter. Daniel's obsession grew stronger. He began searching old newspapers, visiting libraries and digging into records. Soon he found a wedding announcement. Claire had been married to a man named Richard. But there was also a tragic headline years later: local woman dies in fire, husband survives. Daniel's chest tightened. Had Claire died without ever escaping? Was her love story left unfinished? The letter burned inside his pocket like an unanswered prayer. The more Daniel uncovered, the more the story twisted. He found an old friend of the family, a woman named Susan who still lived nearby. Susan remembered Claire well. With sadness in her eyes, she told Daniel the truth. Claire had indeed planned to leave Richard. She had packed a bag, written the letter, and was ready to run away. But on the very night she planned to leave, the fire broke out in their home. Richard escaped. Claire did not. Susan leaned closer and whispered something Daniel never expected. Some say the fire wasn't an accident. Richard was a proud man. He would never let his wife leave him for another. Daniel's blood ran cold. Was Claire's love story ended by fate, or by betrayal? He felt the weight of her words like a stone pressing on his chest. The truth was darker than he ever imagined. Daniel walked back through the Boston streets with the letter in his hand. It no longer felt like just an old piece of paper. It was the last voice of a woman who had wanted freedom, who had believed in love so much that she was ready to risk everything. But that same love had destroyed her. He sat by the river, staring at the water. The city lights flickered on the surface like broken stars. He whispered to himself, "Love can save us, but it can also destroy us." He folded the letter gently and placed it back inside the envelope. He knew he could never change Claire's story, but he had learned something from it. Love is powerful, but when it grows out of lies, secrets, and betrayal, it does not set people free. It only leaves scars that never fade. Daniel stood, tucked the letter inside the book again, and returned it to the bookstore. Some stories, he thought, are not meant to be solved. They are meant to be carried, like warnings whispered across time.